and welcome back to the Coach's Hour. You're here today with myself, him, and my co-host, Jewade Graham. Slightly different studio setup. But today, we are going to talk about our best and worst investments in our PT careers. So this can cover a wide variety of different things. Do you want to start this off? And let us know what are your best... Let's start with the positives. I like positives. What are your best investments, do you think?
Well, yeah, we've got a lot to cover in this one, I think, with the best and worst investments. I think, for me, the best investment is probably going to be the obvious one. And for a lot of people that follow me, they'll probably know me from there, is M10. So, like, before I worked there, I actually was there as a mentee and went through the mentorship process. And I'm not going to, like, I PT'd for a few years before then, but that really opened my eyes to what personal training actually was. So in terms of investment, that was probably the best investment, going through that mentorship process. And it was, for me, it was exactly how I wanted to learn. Like, at the time that we did it then, it was very much one-to-one. There was an in-person aspect with kind of practical weekends and hands-on development. And I used to go down and see my mentor, etc. So that probably accelerated me a lot quicker than anything else that I've done in terms of PT.
How did that all work? So it was so is it every week you have like modules that you have to watch through? Is it self-paced? How does that, or do they present?
It was drip fed. So it was every week it was drip fed, and I have to remember back now. Every week it was drip fed, and then at the time it was weekly calls as well. So there was weekly group calls, but we also had specific mentors. So my mentor Joe, shout out Joe. My mentor Joe, we had like WhatsApp communication, etc. So we could bring like client case studies, anything that we were going through, and it was very hands-on, especially for the time as well. Like, if I think to now, where a lot of things are a little bit more group focused and go at your own pace, and like, it was very dialed in, and there was a lot to really get through. So
Okay. Nice.
What about for yourself? We'll start with education as well then. So we'll say best investment education.
In terms of education, do you know what? I'm gonna go one of the best. I don't know if it's my best investment, but I would say my university degree. So I know a lot of people say, they don't rate their university degrees, right? But for me, it taught me so much. Like, I would say I use my degree almost daily.
So what was your degree?
My degree was sports and exercise science.
So because I've heard really bad things. Well, not bad. Really? I've heard people say that they don't use it. It was like a waste of time, if that's a thing. So like, what for you made it your best investment?
So Martin McDonald, right? He was actually my lecturer.
Oh, swear down. Yeah. Math nutrition.
Yeah.
What was he teaching?
Nutrition.
Of course.
So this was way before Math Nutrition existed. It was, he was, I don't know what, I feel like the guy's never aged, right? But yeah, he was teaching. I was going to say,
how old because he looks...
He must have been really young then when he was lecturing us.
Same age on the lash. Got teaching the next day.
But yeah, he was lecturing us at uni, and he's the one that really got me into the whole... Because I used to do powerlifting, right, when I was at uni, and I wasn't really that into... Not say that into nutrition, but I was much more into strength and conditioning, that side of things, as you are when you like training, right? But he's the one that actually made me understand nutrition in a very simple way. And I love that module. And then they pulled it from like the third year, and we were a bit gutted. But that was when Martin was sponsored by Total Greek Yogurt as well. He was doing the adverts for them.
So what TV? Like TV? Or...
I don't know if it was TV, but I knew he was doing adverts and stuff.
Hang on, have you done Math Nutrition?
I have.
I was going to say, because there's no way you could have been in his lectures and then like not done Math Nutrition.
Yeah. So I think Math Nutrition was probably what it gave a bit more of the application side of it. Okay. So I actually did it a few years later, and I was like, oh shit, he's getting, it's really cool to see kind of him teaching us at university to now where he is today. So obviously, luck of the draw, finding the right people. Like, I could have had some random person teaching us about nutrition, and it could have gone a completely different direction.
So was you a personal trainer at the time?
No, so this was me, I think 18, 17, 18,
So
19.
you had no idea that you was going to go into personal training. It was just, this is my degree. And someone that eventually would teach PTs has just walked into your orbit and was like, let me teach you nutrition.
Yeah,
that's sick.
I had a lot of those moments, to be fair.
Talk about stars aligning.
Yeah. And so that part of that. And then I think people look at the research now, and some people don't know how to separate what's what's good and what's bad. I definitely think like university helped me. Like, we had to read a lot of papers. There wasn't ChatGPT then, so we actually had to like read the papers, find the journals, like not just look at the abstract, but actually read it and look at the hypothesis and make our own analysis from that. Obviously, you have to do like a dissertation in your last year. I actually did one, so I wrote my own dissertation on the subject, but my lecturer actually, I don't know if we worked together, and they got a paper published whilst I was at university.
So your name's on the paper?
My name's on the paper.
You've been published?
Yeah.
Listen, tell the people, where is this? Where can we find this?
So this is on I think it's the Applied Journal of Sports Physiology. So
So what was the paper about?
It was about respiratory, I guess, breathing basically, and the differences between Gen Pop or just regular people and elite powerlifters.
You are slacking. I would have that in my Instagram bio. That would be absolutely every day. I'd wake up and just post on my story, published author. Respect me right now.
Because if you gotta reference me.
Yeah, that's what I'm. So, because what's your surname?
Liu, Liu.
Liu. So it'd be like Liu 2010.
2010. I think it was, or 2010.
That's crazy. I'm gonna start referencing you. I'm gonna tag you now in any story. I'm gonna reference you. 2010.
We did. So I did a lot on. So I remember you did a post about belts, right? Lifting belts.
Yeah.
And we were talking about intra-abdominal pressure and stuff like that. So a lot of it was based around that. And I did a lot of reading on how belts actually work and things like that. So it was really cool. So for me, I got tons out of my degree. So I have to put it up there as one of my best investments. It was expensive investment.
Yeah, but there's a loan, wasn't it?
Yeah, the loan.
So that's not we don't pay loans.
It's cheaper. It's cheaper when I did it then than if someone was to do it now. I don't know if I would put it up there with. I think it's like $9,000 a year now, right, for a degree.
No, absolutely no idea.
So I don't know if my degree would be, looking back, is it worth that kind of money? But it definitely was worth the amount that I paid.
Yeah, and I think as well, because some of when we get onto the bad investments, I wouldn't even call them bad, because I think any investment, whether we think it's good or bad, it shapes us to who we are, which automatically means it's good anyway. So we're labeling this episode good and bad investments, but there is no bad investment. It's all just like a learning experience. So as long as we treat it like that, then that's what it is. You
can always take something from it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, cool. So we've done one good or best. So what was worst? Okay, we won't say worst. What was a perceived negative experience?
Are we dropping names here?
If you're comfortable, I'm comfortable dropping. If you're comfortable dropping names, we'll drop some names, because the people want to know. People vote. See, we should edit this out and then let people vote to see when we should pull it back in.
Yeah.
So if you're comfortable dropping names, you don't have to, but if you are, then
I'll drop a name, bro. I'll throw people under the bus. Probably I'd say Steve McGrath, man.
Like, so
I paid for a business mentorship, right? And I think I'm sure loads of people also are wrapped under that thing. And I say it's a bad investment, but one thing it definitely did teach me was that how not to run the business.
Yeah.
And how to kind of, when I was on it, I think I did a lot of things that I probably would say I wouldn't do personally, but it was kind of like one of those things where you just listen to the person, right?
Yeah.
You're like, okay, this is my coach. I'm going to listen to this person. He's going to tell me to eat shit. I'm going to fucking eat shit, right? Yeah. Whether it's right or wrong. And because you pay for the advice, right? And I think, and that's why, even us as personal trainers, as coaches, there's so much responsibility in terms of what we do, because the person that's paying you, they're listening to everything that we say. Well, they should be, right? And I just think there's a massive responsibility for us to keep learning to be better, to provide the right and correct information to these people, right? And I think for me, that whole process, that kind of let me down in terms of there's a load, and it's not just me. I think a lot of people trusted them to help, and it wasn't really quite what we were promised.
Yeah, I understand that. And just for legal purposes, Steve McGrath is a fictional character. He's not real. There is no Steve McGrath, and there is no mentorship that has been stinging people.
Yeah.
So we should not expect any cease and desists. Hey, back to the show.
But it's an opinion, right?
No, of course. And like, I think my messaging on social media has changed quite a lot over the past year or so. And that's just because I come across, and a lot of the people that I mentor and coach now have had negative experiences with mentors. And like, oftentimes I am one of the last stops where someone's like, it's this or I'm leaving the industry kind of thing. And they're not bad people. They're not bad coaches. It's just they've been taking bad advice and like advice that they're not ready for. So let's take that business mentorship, for example. It probably does work for some people. Like, it's not going to have like 100% non-success rate, but I think a lot of people, it won't resonate with them, or they're not ready to do that, because a lot of coaches, not yourself maybe, but a lot of coaches don't actually have a PT business. So when they're trying to build a PT business with a business mentor, they're building from nothing essentially. And if you're building from nothing, you're not going to build anything. So I think a lot of business mentors, quote unquote, they pull wool over people's eyes. So they promise the world without saying you actually need to be good at coaching first, or you actually need to have a foundation level of XYZ results, experience that you can then transfer to whatever business you want to build. And I think that's the missing link, rather than mentors being evil. A lot of them are dicks. Can we swear on this? We can swear on this. Of course we can. We're not going to get censored on YouTube.
Podcast.
Yeah, but censorships and this and that. So yeah, a lot of mentors are dicks, but it's not because they're bad people. It's just because they take advantage of people, which makes them bad people. So yeah, they are bad people.
I can't speak for them, but I think I get that, a lot of businesses, it's difficult for you, if you're trying to scale it, right? It's difficult for you to be, the person delivering it, right? But I think you got to deliver something. You can't just palm off all your work to somebody else. Do you know what I mean? Because people, especially when it's a small business, it's not like you're this massive business, right? People come in for you, they're watching your content. And I think it needs to be, at least when it's sold to you, it needs to be explained in a lot of detail that you're not going to be working with this person. You're not going to hear from this person at all. And it's like, okay, cool. Maybe then we can make a decision around that. But I feel like it was a little bit in the small print. It wasn't sold in that way. It was like, oh, look, you're going to get this. And actually in the end, it was like nothing. And I don't really even think he knows that I exist.
Well, he will do now, because I will send this to him. But I think in all seriousness, like, I think personal training as an industry and as a business, it's not really scalable, because it's personal training, which means personal. And if we're being personal, there's only so much workload we can handle. And yes, you can scale a team, but if you're scaling a team, you have to be certain that the people that you're scaling, your clients build a relationship with them before they come into your service, just like you said, so they know what to expect. And then your team can actually deliver that, because a lot of mentors will have success coaches that aren't really successful. Like, there is no way that, not even tooting my own horn, there's no way I could go to a business mentor and they put me onto a success coach that is, their business is exactly the same as mine. It's like, success where? Like, if I want to go to a business mentor, I want to speak to the person that's actually grew a fitness business. And then even some of the fitness business mentors that are in the space, their businesses are failing. And like, they've had a few failed businesses, but they still give advice on us how to build a successful one when you haven't really built one yourself. So yeah, so I think not just you, I haven't actually had a negative experience with a business mentor, but I'm very fussy on who I choose. And I think because when I thought about getting a mentor, there was already like a lot of negativity surrounding them anyway. So I was a bit skeptical on like, who do I actually go to? Because I've heard horror stories. And I was like, okay, I made what I believe is going to be some right choices, because we actually shared some mentors, haven't we?
Yeah.
So Simon, I'll give a shout out to Simon.
Big up Simon.
Yeah, give a shout out to Simon. So we can send this send this to everyone, so we just get tagged in loads of stories. So Simon was like, I don't even know if he classes himself as a business mentor. He might do now, but
he says marketing.
Yeah, marketer. And I think for me, I went there for marketing, but I learned a lot about systems, automations, the back end stuff that actually allows me to do what I do. So like, I didn't even have an email campaign system. I didn't have any automations. I didn't have any web pages or anything else like that. And like, that was, even though I think I did need to learn it, to be fair, because even though I'm a coach first and foremost, like now when I'm consulting people about websites, I'm not just saying, can you build me a website? I'm actually having some input in like, I need this automation to go there and I need this to go there. And I've already done half an automation myself that just needs touching up. So I think Simon was a really big learning curve for me and a really big help for my business. I'm not sure if you've got a similar.
Yeah, man. He can go into
You can go to one of the
good
good guys.
investments, man.
Yeah, you can go to a good investment.
Because I have to agree. He taught me like the understanding of marketing, understanding of niche. Like I didn't, everyone always says these things. When it's like when coaches talk about calorie deficits, and I'm sure loads of clients are like, yeah, calorie deficit, but they probably don't really understand what it actually is. And I think a lot of the niche and, when people talk about sales and stuff like that, right? I don't think a lot of coaches truly understand. And that was definitely me. I didn't really truly understand. People like niche and, I don't know, sell to your people. But it's like, what the fuck does that mean? And he was somebody that actually taught me that. Like I felt like I understood it. And I think he's a great guy. And he taught me like to go from Steve to like him. I was like, yo, this is night and day, man. Like to actually be working with the person, is his thing. He's not just palming me off to somebody else. And he's spending so much like personal time with you, one-to-one time. And, that's kind of what you're after, right?
While we're here, we have to give out, because I think we've got this. I know we've got the same mentor. So our current mentor, Dan. Dan's terrible. This is going to be a clip. Do not go to Dan. Dan, business and banter, bicep banter.
No banter.
No banter. Nah, but give a shout out to Dan as well, because I think like, for me, again, I'm very skeptical. And even though I slate business mentors online, I have actually had 2 business mentors, which shows that I haven't completely given up on the space yet. And like Dan, I'm currently still working with at the time of recording. So Dan, you're on a short leash here. But I think like he's giving me some support that I need in terms of like just getting out my own way and getting a direction and just more so like a touch point, because our conversations, it's like very much like, I'll have an idea. I don't need my hand holding. And he would don't hold my hand, actually. No, don't hold my hand at all. But he probably would give me more support if I needed it. But he gives me what I need, and I think that's at the right level at the moment as well.
Yeah. I like that I can see elements of just coaching, right? Do you know what I mean? Like it's not like when you get like you do a course or you do maybe not, but I've done the business mentorship where it's like people just leave you to your own devices. But I feel like he actually coaches you like how I would coach my clients, like he doesn't do check-ins or things like that anymore. But the effort and the time that he kind of gives you, I think that again, that's massive. And that's kind of what I took a lot from Simon and Dan. Is like the people that you're working with, I can give them the time. Don't be super tight and being like, oh, you wanted a call, but you didn't pay for a call. Fucking give people the time. And it comes down to that thing of do what it takes to get that client a result, and I think both of them, they encapsulate that quite well.
Cool. So I think we've been a bit too kind with people now. So
I know, we need to roast people. Right?
Yeah, I know. Back to a negative, back to a bad investment now, I think. So do you have any more bad or perceived bad investments that you want to go through? I've got a weird one.
Yeah.
Now, my one, it's linked to my best investment.
Okay.
And it's still a great investment, but I think it depends on how you look at it.
Okay.
So my job at M10, it was a great investment, but at the same time, it wasn't. And I think the great investment was I've got the skill set to be sitting here with you talking to and mentoring coaches. And the negative side of it depends is like time versus money. Because I invested a lot of time and the skill set I got for that time was really great, but I didn't have anything to show for it in terms of financial success, which is essentially what I entered the industry for as well. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say I just want to help people. I want to help people be the best, but get paid. Exactly. I want to retire at 40. I can't do that now. So yeah, I think like for me, that was a really good investment, and there's no one to blame because I walked into the situation with my eyes open. So like I didn't get conned or anything else, but I think my expectation was as my skill set elevated, my financial position within the industry would also elevate as well. And it did to some extent, but it was nowhere near.
It's always, you have to do more hours to get more money. Yeah,
exactly that. And I think my perspective, because I was a mentee before I worked, so my perspective was, like when I got the job, I was like, oh, everyone must be getting paid sick. And like we all, like because I was getting taught by the best, and truth be told, I was earning more as a gym group, gym PT
That's
before,
wild.
like, and I was like, okay. But granted, I was like, okay, I'm an apprentice now, so I'm back down to, because like financially, I did deserve what I got at the gym group, but I was like, okay, I'm gonna learn and work my way back up, and then I was just hitting ceiling, and the ceilings weren't like, it wasn't like a massive jump, it was just incremental, and I got to the actual ceiling, and I was like, okay, there's nowhere to go from here. And when I first got there, I thought, this is my home forever. And I was like, okay, I'm going to work my way to the top, and then this is it. Like, this is the pinnacle of personal training, which it was in terms of the team. Like, the actual team was amazing, but the structure at some point, especially if you're ambitious like I am, the structure wasn't quite there to support it. And so even though it was my best investment, I'm not going to say worst, but there were some massive downsides, especially when I reflect on it now. But if I could do it again, I would still go through everything again, just because the upside of time, learning, everything else was there, but the finances weren't quite.
What was your age range between them? Like, how old were you started M10, and how old when you left?
I was quite late when in life, I say, because I was 29, I think, when I started.
No way.
Yeah, and that's what I mean, because I was already adult. Like,
This guy's overfilling Martin's here.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's 29 years old.
I'm older than that now. I'm old now.
Oh, shit.
So like, I was 29 when I first started, and then I was there for 3.5, nearly 4 years.
No way.
So like, and that's what I mean. Like, I went there with a steady financial income from the gym group. And don't get me wrong, like, I wasn't the best PT at all, because I was still relatively new in the industry. But it was like, okay, I've got bills to pay. I want to actually get onto the house property ladder, and you can't do that there. Like, it's near enough impossible. You could, let me tell you, you could do that there, but the hours you need to work, it's like, it's not sustainable.
But you got to live in like Rotherham.
That's what I mean. You got to live in basement, like. And I got an apartment city centre. That's when it all started falling down, because I got an apartment in the city centre, and I was like, hang on, I'm doing X amount of sessions, I'm doing X amount of teaching and doing whatever else, and I can't afford this apartment. And the apartment wasn't like crazy expensive. It was affordable. Well, it should have been affordable for what I was doing. And I was like, I can't afford to live here, and I'm putting in all this graft. Something's got to give. So eventually, something did give. Like, and
fair. We
are where we are now, elite coach.
Yeah, I think, like, for me, like, I guess similar kind of thing. But I can't. I can't. You know, I was thinking, like, is it a negative experience? But nah, I can't put UP into that negative space. Like, I think for me it was like, because I was younger. Definitely, I think I just accepted, like, look, money is that. You know, I got time to. And my thing was like, I got time to build this base up, right? Because of my age. And I was just like, look, if I have to, like, not make that much money, that's cool, because I'm getting so much else out of it, right? The perks kind of outweigh it. Eventually, it was leaving because of, like, money. But again, like, it's one of those things, as you get older, you get to that point where it's like, okay, shit, I need to begin to start to earn more. And you see different things, right? And I think at the time when I was there wasn't as clear cut of a progression system as they have now. They've, like, turned into a proper business now, right? Where, you know, there's different tiers of, you know, trainers, etc.
How old was do you know actually how old the business was when you joined? Like, was it only like one location, or was there a few?
No, there was already a few. So they started, if I'm not mistaken, it was probably 2008. They started their business. They were like the first to do transformations, right?
Yeah.
And everyone looked up to the UP.
Well,
it was like
even when I first got into the industry, like year 2016, 17, so that was years later. For me, it was UP. I wanted to work at UP or M10. Yeah. That was like the two that I had. That's the pinnacle.
Yeah, I think they only had 3 branches when I started.
Yeah.
So it was Mayfair, it was the city, Hong Kong, and then
so which one
I went out to open up Singapore with them. Yeah.
So we'll cover this on another episode, because that's going to be something we'll cover. Tune into the next episode, because him is going to go through his history.
Yeah. So yeah, Singapore was the one where I went, and I think I can't really say anything negative. Obviously, it didn't end the best, but looking back, like, I was young, you know.
I can't really say anything negative. The goals on there says it didn't end the best.
Yeah, it didn't end the best, but I think I would put that down to me more than them. If I'm honest. And but it was a great experience, man. And like I said, I would do it all again.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's what I mean, because we say best and worst, but as I've said like briefly before, there's no worst. And even some of the stuff that I say is negative, if I had to do it again, I definitely would, because all the perceived negatives has got me and you where we are today. So
100%.
like life's not plain sailing. And I'm going to ask you a question because I've studied a similar course, but you've gone a little bit further. So I'm going to ask you where you would put this on the best and worst continuum. And that is RTS, because you've actually been out to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So where would you put RTS on the continuum?
Oh, it's up there, man.
Yeah.
That's what I said. It's definitely up there, because I think I went into it with a closed mindset, and I came out like not even like I went in to learn like biomechanics and stuff.
So where do you go and learn? Like, because I'm going to assume you didn't just go to Oklahoma. Did you start local and then go?
Yeah,
there?
So I actually started. How I came across RTS was Joe Bennett.
Ah.
So Joe Bennett was coming up in terms of social media. Instagram was popular. I was like, this is hypertrophy coach. Started reading some stuff. I was like, this is interesting. Like, what's he talking about? Kind of thing. And then I think they were doing some teaching in where was it? Florida, right? MI40?
Yes.
That's right. They were walking at MI40, and then I was like, shit, maybe I'll go down to learn in MI40 with Deepak and all of them, right? And then they kind of disbanded.
Yeah.
And that moment, I was like ready to book my ticket, and they disbanded. I was like, yeah, what the fuck's going on? And then I kept hearing like Joe talk about, RTS, and I was living in Singapore at the time, and I was like messaging RTS and going like, okay, where did they do RTS in Asia? And they did one, I think, in Taiwan. But I was like, but they haven't really done like it's not systemized as it is now, right? I was like, where is it? And then I found one. Oh, there's one in London. So I was like, okay, I'll fly back to London. And because it was like the structure at the time was like, I think it was 3 days, 3-day weekend, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and it was every month, right? So I had to fly back and forth. I was doing the whole Oklahoma thing like straight away. But I was flying back and forth from Singapore to do it. I had to like obviously break it up into several sections. In between that, I also did N1 education with Coach Kasim. He came down. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into the whole RTS.
So when you say London, it's going to be Michael, isn't it?
Yeah, it was with Michael. Yeah.
And then you actually went out to
Oklahoma. I did that in 2023.
Yeah. Would you go back again? So did you test out?
I didn't do the test. The next time I want to go is probably to do the test.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure I pass, right?
I know, imagine. That's what I mean, because I've never met Tom, but from what I've seen, if you don't pass, like, he's going to get on you. He's not going to be like, oh yeah, don't worry, next time. He's going to be like, you're a fucking dickhead. What you should know this stuff before you come out here.
Yeah. And do you know what I love about RTS more than any other education system is because they don't give, I don't know about now, but at the time, they never gave you no certification. I've done RTS foundations, like whatever it's called now, right? I've done that about 4 times, and not once have I received like certification of completion. But at the same time, I was like, I don't need this, because it's not. I didn't become like I didn't learn about exercise mechanics when I get the certificate. I learn it from the journey of getting there. Right. And I think that the fact that they don't give you that certificate, I think it's great, because it takes away that thing to say, oh, I just come in and I've got this certificate. It's like, no, it's a progression. You can go to RTSM and do mastery in Oklahoma, but it doesn't mean that you've reached mastery. Mastery is an ever going thing, right?
Yeah,
and
definitely.
That's what I love about it.
And I think like RTS does get kind of a bad name sometimes, because everyone just thinks, that's what I mean. Everyone says it's cold tea, it's cuffs, it's bands, it's chains, like some fucking dominatrix thing. And it's like, no, actually, it's just understanding exercise. And like, for me, that's probably one of my better investments as well, just in terms of like being able to change someone's experience on a gym floor. Like, we know that as gym floor PTs, even online as well, because if you've done enough in-person stuff, it transfers to online and just seeing stuff. So if you can have like a positive impact on someone's session, someone's day, of course they're going to come back. And yes, learn the marketing, yes, learn the sales. But if you can just go up to someone and say, let me take you through a set, and straight away they're like, oh, I feel this muscle like I've never felt before. How much do you charge? It's like an obvious next step. So I think for a lot of PTs, it didn't have to be RTS or Integra straight away, but just getting better at coaching. And for me, that was one of the... M10 was a great introduction, to be fair, as well. And that's one of the things about M10 that I really liked. They didn't try and gatekeep, because like their mentorship wasn't like, oh, we know everything. It was, you get your foundation, you'll learn a little bit about everything here. But if you want to learn more about exercise, go here. If you want to learn more about nutrition, go there. If you want to learn more about the biochemistry, go there. And that was one of the things that I really took with me. Like, they didn't try and gatekeep. We know everything. We're the best. You just stay with us forever, kind of thing. And that's kind of stayed with me now, because I'm not someone's end journey. When someone works with me, they'll get to a point where they've actually got a business and they'll choose where they want to specialize. Like, not everyone has to be interested in exercise mechanics. Not everyone has to want to do mat nutrition. But if you do, go and study with the best. Yeah. And I think like that's something that's really important as well.
Learn from the horse's mouth.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because everything else should just filter down. Like, I've seen some people that teach people like they're the end product, and I just know it's a watered down version of the actual person's stuff, to the point where sometimes it ends up in legal troubles. So yeah, it's...
I do that now, man. Like, I send people to like do RTS. I send us like you're obviously interested in exercise mechanics. I can teach you some basic stuff, right? But it's like, you really want to get hands on and do it, man, go and attend class with Michael, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Especially if you're in London. So yeah, I think that goes down as one of the best investments for sure.
Are there any others off the top of your head that you want to talk about before we wrap up? Any other, either good or
I think,
not so good?
I've got to drop it in, but I was in a time of business cards.
So that,
printing business cards for it. I think for me, that was one of the worst investments. I still got loads at home now.
I was going to say, how many have you got? So how much? Because, okay, then first question is like, how often did you rebrand? Because I used to rebrand my logo every other week. So I've got 5 different sets of flyers as well was my one. Flyers, business cards and flyers. Yeah. So is that a best investment or a worst investment for you?
Is business cards?
Yeah.
It was the worst investment, because I did it before. Like, that was like my first. you could say I rebranded twice.
So what was your first brand called?
The first one was 365 Fit.
Oh.
So that was it, man. Bring it back.
bring back. Yeah, this is retro. If you've got any tops with 365 Fit on there, you send me one and I will rock that.
Oh dear. It was bad, man. But I've still got it. And then my email address was mad long. It was like my full name, Hymsuen Liu, personal training, like not even PT, personal training. So it was like fucking all the way there. So when you're on the business card, it's like this. It was dreadful, mate. It was dreadful. Yeah. It looked cool though. I had a nice business card. I got it made in China and shit. But
did you just pop it in the gyms, or did you?
Yeah,
do you actually give any out at all?
Nah, but you put it in the gym, on the PT board.
I used to put them in the gym and then count how many's gone. I'd put 10 in and I'd go like 3 days later. Oh, there's 11 there now. Someone's put one back from before.
Meanwhile, someone's just dropped it on the floor or something.
Yeah, so that was, and to be fair, I'm not actually sure I got any inquiries ever from business cards, but there were still. That's actually a throwback, and even like the PT boards, I think they still do them.
They still do them.
They're quite actually. They work quite well still. Maybe not business cards.
Yeah, but the board obviously brings away. But some of the boards, I'm like looking at the guy, I'm like, I ain't never seen this guy before in the gym.
You actually got to be there. This is like once a month PT. Yeah. Is there anything else? That's a throwback. That caught me by surprise a little bit.
That's why I had to put it down. Nah, I think that's pretty much it for me.
Yeah, okay, cool. So let us know if you've got any best or worst investments. Drop a comment drop a comment, because we'll get lost in the DM. So drop a comment. We want everyone to see, and don't be scared to. In fact, don't name drop. We'll take the hit for you. But drop a comment and let us know your best and worst investments in the industry so far. And if you mention either one of us, just leave your address as well, because we'll pay you a visit.
Yeah, and if you want that 365 Fit top, just let me know.
So, please order some, because I want you to have to fulfill that now. You made a promise.
I don't have any.
Okay, so shall we wrap up now? Is that it?
Yeah. So you can. Thank you all for listening. You can find me on Instagram at Gym with Him.
Not 365.
Not 365. And my co-host is at Jewade Graham Coach.
You're redirecting people in the wrong place. No wonder.
Coach.
I've got thousands of followers now, just in the bin somewhere.
And yeah, it's a goodbye for me.
And goodbye from me, man.
Peace.